Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to 3 tips for soft dynamics on the oboe. Many oboe players think that in order to achieve soft dynamics on the oboe, they have to have the perfect reed. And that is certainly part of the story, but not the whole story. There are things you can do to your playing and how you approach the instrument that will help you achieve soft dynamics consistently. It's not all about having the perfect reed. Of course, we very rarely have the perfect reed. So being able to achieve some consistency in your playing and how you approach the soft dynamics will give you that ability in your playing. And that's what I'm going to talk about today is 3 tips towards being able to do that. My name is Erin Brophy. I am the principal oboe player of the Saskatoon Symphony and a sessional lecturer at the University of Saskatchewan. I hope you can hear my dog alerting us to someone being across the street. Sorry about that. Live recordings, you know. The reason that I am doing these live recordings and offering this free information has a lot to do with how I got started on the oboe. I'm from a remote part of Canada, a beautiful place full of rocks and trees, and it was an idyllic place to grow up until I started on the oboe. And that's when I started to feel very remote because I did not have access to good information. I did not have access to a functioning instrument, and I did not have access to functioning reeds. There were no soft dynamics happening in my playing, let me assure you. And you know, if you fast forward now 25 plus years, I've been playing professionally and working with other oboe players. And I reflect that my journey on the instrument did not have to be that frustrating. It did not have to feel so lonely because, because now that I help people, I can see that once you get access to a functioning instrument and functioning reeds and great information, it really helps you improve quickly and enjoy the instrument more. And so that's why we now have this resource called the internet, which for anyone under the age of 20 who's watching this video, I did not grow up with the internet, so it's not something that I had access to. But now that we have it, it's such a terrific resource to get that great information out there so that you do not have to struggle the way that I did. It's also the reason why I created an online oboe education program called the Oboe Path. The Oboe Path uses a group online masterclass, customized, personalized plan, and one-on-one feedback to enable an oboist to play with joy and ease. Through the group online masterclass, an oboe player is inspired to practice and is accountable for their practicing. Through the personalized plan, an oboe player is able to fit their practicing and improving on the instrument into their busy life. And with the personalized feedback, every practice session the oboe player goes to, they know exactly what they need to do. And so they see the results immediately. It is a really inspiring and compelling program, and I love it. So let's get to it. 3 tips to play soft dynamics on the oboe. So the first thing I want to talk to you about, which will really help with the consistency of your soft dynamics, is your air speed. Soft dynamics are achieved on the instrument with a very good speed of air. Where that speed of air comes from is your diaphragm. And so you want to be pushing the air as much as you can when you get to those soft dynamics. On other instruments, they talk about fast and slow air or hot and cold air. That is not how I approach breathing on the oboe. I think that I'm always using as fast of air as I can on all the notes, and then I try to play softly, and then I'm using even faster air. The diaphragm is that muscle that's below the lungs, and so when you engage the diaphragm when you're playing, and see how I'm using that bearing down sort of motion, when you engage the diaphragm and get that speed of air, that's going to really help you with achieving that soft dynamic. Because what that speed of air is going to do is going to allow the reed to vibrate. And that's what we need the reed to do in order to get that soft dynamic, is literally to vibrate. So this vibration that we're looking for comes from the air. And now I want to talk about your embouchure. So in order to play softly on the oboe, we're not looking, we're looking for this speed of air, and the embouchure acts like, it acts like a fence, or it acts like a drawstring on the sides of a purse. What it's doing is it's not allowing a great quantity of air. It's allowing a quality of air, a speed of air, but it's not allowing a quantity of air. So what's happening is the oboe embouchure is actually, the oboe embouchure is curling in and reducing the amount of air that is going into your oboe. So I'm going to play, just to demonstrate how this works, I'm going to play a half whole D natural, and I'm going to play it quite loud, and you're going to see that there's a lot of pink happening in my embouchure. There's a lot of pink happening here. And then I'm going to play the same note soft, and I'm going to show you the drastic change that happens. Sorry. The completely subtle change, which makes a drastic difference to the sound. So there's a lot of pink of my embouchure showing. I want to also point out that I have rather thin lips. So the amount of pink for my lips might be very different in your physiology. So make sure that you're taking that into consideration as you're working on this. Now I'm going to play quite soft. So you see that there is a good deal of difference in the way I'm going to go between them so you can see the motion. The entire time I'm keeping up the speed of my air, but my embouchure is acting almost like a corral, or it's not allowing a good quantity of air to get into the reed. It is cushioning the reed. I am not cushioning the reed from up and down. I'm not cushioning from my lips coming in like this. I'm actually cushioning by the sides of my mouth. So the really strong muscles here. Let me do that one more time. I'm going to play loud and then soft and loud and soft, and I want you to see what happens to my embouchure. So you can see that it's quite a subtle change that is happening. And I'm using, and it's a subtle change, but it makes a big difference in terms of dynamics. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm wanting to have dynamic contrast. Now, how much we roll in and out is kind of depending on the reed that you're playing. And not kind of, it does depend on the reed you're playing. And the amount that you do it is a feedback loop from your ear. So thinking of this flexibility of your embouchure, and it's going to, what you're going to use is your good listening ears to know that you're playing the same pitch, and how much you have to roll in and out. Because of course, we are also using our embouchures for our intonation and changing our intonation around. And compensating for what the reed naturally wants to do. Our embouchures are so flexible that they can do that. That's the brilliant thing about the reed to embouchure combination. You know, this thing is flexible, and so can this be. And so I'm using that feedback loop to tell myself how much I need to roll in and out, and it's very much reed specific. I think that can feel rather unsettling, that there's no consistent feeling in your embouchure that you're looking for, or a consistent picture of it, that to think of it as being flexible can feel like, well, how do I have control? And my third tip is how you have control. And that is to practice soft dynamics consistently. I think that one of the reasons why oboe players can find this challenging is that all of a sudden they find themselves playing second oboe and playing low G and below, needing to play it quite softly, and it comes as a surprise. And that's understandable, because it you know, in our experience of playing the oboe, if we're doing studies and learning, we're staying in the upper ranges we are playing, quite loud all of the time, if we're playing in orchestra, in band. And then if we have if suddenly all of the brass people drop out, or the suddenly you have to play soft with the clarinet player behind you, it can feel really unsettling, because we don't spend a lot of time in that soft dynamic in our practicing, unless you consciously make a choice to do so. And so I would encourage you, the way that you can create consistency is to have a consistent attempt at trying to play softly on your instrument. And what that will do is teach you how you need to be flexible in your embouchure here with your ear on this reed this day. What do you need to do for this reed this day to make it sound soft? And what do you need to do this reed this day to make it loud? And having your embouchure be flexible, but having your air be consistent. So the flexibility comes from your embouchure, the air is consistent, and the attempting of playing soft dynamics is consistent. If you have those two pillars of consistency and then allow your embouchure to be flexible, that is the way to achieve soft dynamics on the oboe. I hope that you have found this helpful. I hope that you bring lots and lots of soft playing to your oboe playing, because there is something so inspiring about a dolce soft sound on the oboe. It's just so gorgeous. And to be able to do that consistently feels like a superpower. So I encourage you to go down this path of soft dynamics. It will add such a richness to your playing. If you feel that perhaps some of your soft playing is getting caught up in the reed choices that you're making, I do have an additional training that you can sign up for. It is a video about choosing a better oboe reed and talking about resistance, which is a lot of what we are talking about in terms of a reed that will allow you to play soft. We're working with resistance. And so there's a whole section in that video. It comes with a PDF that talks about resistance and how to choose a better oboe reed, so that when you go to practice your soft dynamics or you're in concert, that you have a better experience. The link to download that training is attached to this video. And I hope you find that as helpful as today. Let's all become the oboe players that everyone wants to play with. The oboe players we are meant to be. Play the oboe with joy and ease. See you next time. Oh, shoot. The whole time? Hello, and welcome. Welcome to 3 tips for soft dynamics on the oboe. Many oboe players think that in order to achieve soft dynamics on the oboe, they have to have the perfect reed. And that is certainly part of the story, but not the whole story. There are things you can do